Talk Radio Europe.
We are continuing with our weight loss journey. So at 2:25 live in the studio, we'll have Sandie Ashing joining us. She'll be telling you about Hypno-Sculpting, how to lose weight via hypnotherapy. It's just coming up to 2:25. Now we're sticking to our theme of weight loss as it's the beginning of the year. And if you've overindulged, then you might want to hear the story and some advice from our first guest today. We're going to be talking about hypnotherapy for weight loss with expert Sandie Ashing. Welcome to the show, Sandie.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me here.
You're welcome.
Very exciting.
It's exciting for me because I've seen you over the years and I've seen how your weight loss has just gone, absolutely gone, and I want to know how you do it. So first of all, tell us your story.
Okay, so my story, it started a while ago. It started, from the age of 45 heading up to 50 when I started piling on menopause weight, and I didn't understand why. I wasn't eating any different. I wasn't doing anything different, and over the years I got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I tried everything. I tried all of the, the Cambridge stuff. Can I say all of this?
Oh, you can say them all, yes.
I tried Cambridge, I tried Herbalife. All these places wanted me to go and work for them, but I didn't lose any weight, so I didn't want to work for them. I tried cabbage diet. I tried drops in coffee. None of that worked. I tried fasting. Didn't work for me because I love food and I was just starving all the time. And nothing seemed to work. And I just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was during lockdown when we were all stuck in the house, I got even bigger. There are no photographs of that. And never will be. And it was kind of to the point where I know I'm not the only person, but I started drinking every day. I was drinking alcohol every day. And I'd like to say I drank a couple of glasses of wine every day, but that would be fibbing. I drank a bottle at least every single day, and it got earlier and earlier. I was eating what I thought was healthy. I was eating healthy snacks, grapes and hummus and dipping carrots and all of this. I was doing online exercise 5 days a week, doing a thing called Pound Fit with drumsticks for girls.
You were doing well. You're doing really well.
I was doing all of that, but I was getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's
and
weird,
bigger.
Isn't it?
And I really didn't understand it. And it got to the point where I got told I could go back to the clinic. You're a mental health official. We need you. Go back to work. And it was the end of September. And I had two things in the whole wardrobe that I could get into, which was a bit of a shock because I've been hanging around in just shorts and T-shirts and jammy bottoms, that stretch and things. So I picked out a grey dress, which is one that's been in lots of magazines because they like that one because this is what the story is about. But the pictures in the magazines were taken a year before I'd put on more weight. The pictures of this grey lacy dress, which was very unsuitable for clinic, was bought for a friend's daughter's wedding. And it was a size 22. Dorothy Perkins. And I'd actually cut the label out because I bought it in England and I didn't want my mum seeing what size it was because she might criticise me for being a size 22. So what happened was Stuart literally sewed me into this dress. It was very strong with a big zip. And I couldn't actually get into the car because it was so tight around my backside and my hips.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah, I couldn't actually sit in the car to drive down. So I had to hitch it up, get a towel, put it over me. And as you know, I used to live up in Alarin. I had 3 Guardia checks to get down to the clinic that used to be in San Pedro. Now, luckily for me, they all had my documents. They had my registration number, so I was allowed to travel. But my worst thought was if they actually stop me and want to get me out the car, I'm wrapped in them. Your Bridget Jones wrapped in a towel. It's like, oh Lord. They didn't. They just waved me past. There's that mad English woman coming down again. I smiled and waved, as you do. And I used to get down the clinic. And one of the good things for me then was all the other shops apart from the supermarket were closed. So the car park was really quite deserted. And I used to get out wrapped in the towel into the lift. And in the lift, I would hitch that skirt back down and then into the clinic. And the clients were saying, don't you sit down when you do this? You're pacing the floor. And I'm going, no, I like to pace the floor. Because I couldn't say, no, I can't sit down. And this is when I knew I needed to do something. And my mum's words were running through my head. My mum's diabetic. And when she turned diabetic in her early 50s, I helped her to do meal plans and everything else. She's diabetes. She's one of 10, the youngest of 10. And all 8 above her got diabetes when they were 50.
Wow.
Yeah, the family's been under a big study because of all of that. My nan also had diabetes. So my mum never wanted to inject. She only wanted to ever take tablets because she won't let me hypnotise her for a needle phobia.
Which is a whole other story.
Yeah, that's a whole other story there. So she only wanted to take tablets. So I went and studied all about the diabetic diet many years ago to help my mum. What can she eat? What will help her? And then she just takes metformin, and she lost a load of weight. And she just stabilises at that. And even now, even through lockdown, half of our conversations were different meals. What is she eating? What can she eat that's different? What can she make on her own? So I thought, there's something in this. So that was part of what happened. The second part was during lockdown. Apart from writing a million scripts for different companies that wanted all my hypnosis stuff, I studied a thing called Reiki because I'd heard of Reiki. Everybody's heard of Reiki, but I had no idea what it was. And there was an online course going on, and I thought, I'm not doing anything else. Let's go and take this course. I did this online Reiki course, and at the end of it, they said, okay, we're going to send you an attunement, some mystical signal. And I went, okay. They said, but you need to detox your body first. Right, what does that entail? And they said, for the next 21 days, no coffee. Oh, I know your face just said that.
That would kill me.
Your face said that, and I thought, oh, hang on, it gets worse.
Oh, blimey.
Then they said no sugar. And I thought, well, do you know, I only actually take sugar in coffee, so I thought, so I can do that. They said no chocolate. I was menopausal, big cell at the time. And then they said no alcohol. Given what I've just told you.
That's a lot to cut out. That's all your favourite things.
It was everything I liked. And I went, how much do I actually want to do this? But I thought, well, I've studied for it. I'll do it. I can do 21 days. So that's what I did. During that period in time, my knee also went pop and I couldn't exercise. Because I couldn't exercise, I thought, here we go. We're going to get even bigger. But you know, I didn't. I started coming down in weight.
Okay.
If you listeners do nothing else but cut out sugar and alcohol for 21 days, it's one of the biggest tips I can give you. It's going back to how my granny cooked, or my great granny cooked, before there was any processed food. It was going back to natural, proper food, you know, fish, meat, vegetables, salad, dairy. That's it. All the proper stuff you're supposed to eat. And I came up with a load of different menus for me that I wanted to try. And I thought, I'm going to stick to these. I'm going to stick to no alcohol just for a while and no chocolate just for a while. And my weight started doing this. And I thought, well, this is great. But then I sort of plateaued a bit. And I thought, right, okay, I've hit that wall. What do I do next? And I thought, well, Sandie, you're a hypnotist. You've just written like nearly 300 scripts for this company, including a load of weight loss ones. Do stuff for yourself. So as a hypnotherapist, I do self-hypnosis quite a bit.
Can you do that? You don't put yourself into a trance and then can't get out of it?
No. And you can't get stuck in hypnosis. I'll tell you a little bit about hypnotherapy and hypnosis, how it works in a minute. But you can't get stuck in it and doing it for yourself. No, I teach all my clients how to do it. Because obviously once they've done stuff with me, I want them to be able to do stuff themselves at home. The girls that I have in the Hypno-Sculpting group grow their nails and grow their hair and all sorts of stuff using self-hypnosis.
I know Anella. Anella's just passed your...
Have you? She's Anella qualified with me last summer.
Yes. She's lovely.
She is, yes. So I think now I've trained over half of the clinical hypnotherapists on the Costa del Sol. I've trained over half of them now, so I'm quite proud of that, of every single one of them. Where were we? My story...
you were coming on to so you started to hypnotise yourself.
I did,
yes.
Right. So I started to hypnotise myself, but sometimes all the stuff I wanted to say, once I got in there, it kind of does its own thing. So I thought, so I wrote some actual scripts out and I said to Stuart, will you read them to me? Stuart being another clinical hypnotherapist, read them to me. But it's not the same having anybody else read your words. It's not the same. And I'm going, you're doing the pausing in the wrong place. You're doing the wrong tonality for that bit. So I thought, blow it. So I recorded my own scripts and I started listening to them. And my weight loss journey began rapidly. So I'm eating a different way because obviously if I'd carried on eating the same way, if you keep doing what you're doing, you don't get any change. You need to change your eating style. So I changed my eating style. I'm listening to my hypnotic scripts. I'm listening to, me talking about my figure and changing my figure and then thinking, what did I actually want? I wanted to have an hourglass figure. Ta-da!
You certainly have. Blimey.
I used to be a barrel shape, But this is where the sculpting part, because if you can conceive it in your mind, your body will do it. Everything starts here. Every limiting belief we've ever had started here. And if you can change that limiting belief,
brain.
This is the hypnosis part. People who say, "Oh, all our family are big boned." There's no such thing as big bones. Not really. Maybe tall, but not big bones. Your family's not big bones. Your family have an eating style, and you're all the same shape and size because of that eating style that's been handed down through generations. People say things to themselves. They put thoughts in their own head. I can't even look at a cream cake window without putting on a pound. And their mind actually goes, right, okay, we'll do that then. Every time you see a cream cake, I'll put another pound onto your scales. So if I can change that the other way around using hypnosis, I can tell it, no, actually, as I sleep, you're going to let go of some of the stored fat. As I sleep, it's going to loosen. As I sleep, my inner workforce is going to start sculpting my shape. And that started happening. And then I just thought, let's play with it, because I'd always done the hypnotic gastric band with clients. I thought, well, let's record it just for me. So I recorded it and I gave myself a hypnotic gastric band, which was great. And I listened to it probably once a month, because you don't want to keep on, but you can tighten it up and everything else. And this is how the audio collection became a thing. Everybody wanted something different. So that was my particular journey. It took me 9 months. And in 9 months, I lost just over 34 kilos, now on 35 kilos. In old money, that's 5 stones.
That's a heck of a lot.
Yes, I was a size 22 to 24. I'm now a size 10 to 12. Everything in my wardrobe had to go.
It's a nice feeling, though, isn't it?
It really actually was. It really was. Now, with Stuart, because Stuart's in the house and he's watching oh, there we go.
Stuart's here and he's lost weight as well.
19 kilos.
Wow.
I haven't hypnotised him, but I have fed him the same way I eat.
Okay.
And because of that, he's lost 19 kilos and he's back down to the weight he was when we got married.
Blimey. But presumably Stuart could hypnotise himself anyway, because you do the same thing, don't you?
He does do self-hypnosis, but not for weight loss. He does it for other things all the time. But yes, he could if he wanted to, but that was all he needed to go to. He doesn't really need to be any slimmer than that.
Definitely not. Neither of you need to lose any more. You both look great. Don't lose any more. So how does it actually work then, the hypnotising yourself? If somebody's listening and thinks, well, I want to lose weight, is it talking to yourself, like you said, in your sleep or in the day?
Well, obviously, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, so I know and understand how the mind works and how to hypnotise me. What I do is I'll tell you how hypnosis itself works, how hypnotherapy works. I know nobody can watch. I do this when I'm on the phone to people as well. Inside your physical brain, inside your head, this part at the very back above the top of your skull where it bulges out is the primal part of your brain, primal part of your mind. We lovingly call it the subconscious. Okay, that's that bit. The middle bit is your neurological network. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. The front bit, touching my forehead, is your conscious brain, the bit we think with now. And around the tops of your ears, where I am running my fingers around the tops of my ears, is where all our memory stores go. Like tiny little filing cabinets, if you like, millions of them inside the actual skull, inside the physical brain. Now, when we're born, we are born with the back part alight, the primal part, the learning centre. It's like a little sponge. If you were to stick a baby's head in an MRI machine, I don't actually recommend you do it, but that's the part that would be lighting up. And it stays that way until they're about 6 or 7 years old. It's the part that learns everything. It learned how to walk, how to talk, how to crawl, how to sit up straight. We're sitting up straight. We're not thinking about any of the muscles we're using or what's holding us up. We're just doing it. It became a natural thing. And we learnt it through repetition, because this is how this part of the brain likes to learn. We went to school and they taught us how to hold a pencil. Then they taught us how to join up the dots and write our name. And then they said, now join the whole name up. Now you could just grab a pencil, write your name, and you wouldn't have to look at what you're writing because you do it automatically. You learned it. And it was the same through everything in our life as we were growing up. Its language is imagination. Its language is magical. Under the age of 7, we believed everything. Everything we were told. We didn't question it. It was just a thing. A lot of the way we were taught was through metaphorical stories, nursery rhymes. The example I like to give is Little Red Riding Hood. We've all heard the story of Little Red Riding Hood, and we could all tell it to a child without using a book. And you'd hit the three main points of that metaphorical story. You could dress it up as much as you like. You could say, she had a basket of muffin, keto, chocolate chips, something, and she was wearing purple shoes. But the three main points of that story is, don't go into scary places. Don't talk to strangers, because bad shit's going to happen if you do. So we just go, our little minds got it. Went, right, okay. And it was the same with a lot of nursery rhymes in those days. A lot of the things we were told as children were a way of not scaring us, but keeping us safe. So this is how this part of your mind likes to learn. It loves metaphorical stories. It loves magic. This is also where all your limiting beliefs came in. If, as a child, you had one of those teachers who said, you will never be able to X, Y, Z, it went, oh, okay, it believed it. I will never be able to X, Y, Z. So that every time you start to, whatever it is, up the neurological network, there's a block. It won't let you get past that block. Again, this is where hypnosis comes in. We can help to move these mental blocks, move them around, create new neurological pathways. Once we get past the age of 7, we start to move forward in our thinking. We move into the neurological network, which is, running the fingers across the top of my head, I like to think of it like a glistening spider's web. Unless you're spider phobic, then it's not. A glistening spider's web, and these little brain signals, like little electricity signals, for want of a better phrase, run up and down these little neurological networks all the time. You cannot have a thought or make a movement without setting off one of these little things. We move through this through what we call the teenagehood. Occasionally we get here. We're not actually in the conscious mind, in the grown-up mind, in the forehead, until we're about 24 years old. This is where we are more here for most of the time. Between the age of 7 and about 24, we are backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. This is why, as teenagers, we made all of those wonderful decisions, that we're glad that we didn't have social media around when we were teenagers, even though our mum still found out some of them. But this is where we had a great idea, and we were so grown up about the idea, but there was actually a 7-year-old in the back of our head going, that's a brilliant idea, we'll do that. Once we get to this part, 22, 24, we are in the grown-up mind, we're in the most of the time. We're decision making, we're making lists, what we're doing, all the rest of it. But we do flip back into the subconscious, which is where the hypnosis part happens. We flip back in there naturally, because hypnosis is a natural thing. You do it when you're driving a car on a long journey, and you get there and went, ooh, did I go through the tunnel? Okay. You do it if you're staring at a red light at traffic lights and the car behind you goes beep, and then you realise the light's actually turned green. So hypnosis itself is a natural thing. We go in and out of it about, 50 to 100 times a day. Wow. We go through a hypnagogic and a hypnopompic state when you go off to sleep at night, when you wake up in the morning. If you wake maybe half in a dream, it means that you're still here and you're coming forward. So it is very, very natural. So you can't get stuck in it. People do it naturally. As clinical hypnotherapists, we know how to take people in there very, very deeply. We know how to talk to their subconscious part of the mind to help them change that neurological network and rewire some of the thoughts. If we can get in there and we can tell people, how do you want your body to look? Imagine having the perfect frame. Imagine if you could visualize yourself with the perfect shape and size that you really want to be. And if we can get them to imagine that enough, and we can put enough pathways into the brain, into the mind, the body, the mind will find a way to do that, because it's all one thing.
Fascinating. It's fascinating. I could talk to you for hours, but sadly we are running out of time because I have several advert breaks to get in. But what I do want to ask you is, if any of our listeners are interested, we'll give your contact details out. They can contact you and you can help them. But can you teach them how to eventually do it themselves?
I can. There's 3 different ways that they can do this. They can either get an audio from my audio clinic and just start that way. They can contact me and they could have a chat and become part of my group. I do a women's weekly group online on Zoom. They could contact me and be a private client. To learn how to do this within my private group and within one-to-ones, I do teach clients self-hypnosis.
Right.
You can learn clinical hypnotherapy from me, but that takes a whole year, and I take on students every October. So in October, I'll be looking for brand new students like Anella and many others to become the next year's clinical hypnotherapist for the coast and Gibraltar.
Brilliant. So how can people get in touch? Is it your website?
It is. I've got, if they want to know about losing weight, it's the Hypno-Sculpting. Now, this is the 3 W's, Hypno, Hypno, and then there's a little hyphen, and then sculpting.com. So we're sculpting our figure with a hypnosis. I'm also on Facebook as well. The Facebook has a page with Hypno-Sculpting. You can find me there. Or you can find me, Sandie Ashing. I'm the only one on Facebook. And from there, you can either send me a quick message, or you'll be able to see the posts I've made and the websites I've got. And if you want to know more about clinical hypnotherapy for any other subject, or you want to learn how to do what we do, then you would come to the Lux website, LUX. So this is luxtherapyclinic.com. And we have a training school in Frangarola that we use if you want to learn to study or know more about different subjects to do with hypnosis. There's all things on there for anxiety, depression, stop smoking, all of the normal stuff. You can find out more about us and the whole team, Stuart, I, and the therapist that we've actually trained.
Wonderful. And as I always say, if you're driving or haven't got a pen to hand, mainly if you're driving, please don't crash your car. Just contact me after the show or during the show, and I have all Sandie's contact details. Sandie Ashing, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Talk Radio Europe.